think we're going to work on today, I want to work on a little bit of, since you have partners, something called a stop kick or cut kick. And all we're going to do is a mixture of, we can do some stop punches too, which is a little bit different. You want to grab some sort of pillow or some sort of padding for this that we can use. And all we're going to do is work on intercepting kicks. So a stop kick or an intercepting kick or punch is one done. It has very precise timing, but it's usually done as they come at you. So we're going to start off with cut kick. So what we're going to do is one person's going to stand, and we'll just work on the motion. So one person can just stand there stationary, and cut kick, lean back, pick up the front foot, it kind of pops up off the ground. And you just need to do a little push, aiming for the hips. You're not trying to do damage like a normal thing. You're trying to create distance or knock them off their feet. So you're just going to stand there totally relaxed. They come at you. Right now they're not going to come at you, but they're just going to stand there, lean back, hop forward, pop, and then go back to relaxed, pop. And you can change your direction slightly. So there's somewhere in front, other leg, pop. You can do it to the side. If you go to the side, it's going to be a little bit more of a side kick. So just experiment facing slightly different directions. Do about 10-ish per leg. And your goal is to get it on there as quick as possible, and you want to feel the person who's holding, you want to get a little bit of a push so it knocks you back just a little bit. Okay, so go ahead. They come at you, whatever side, pop, and then relax. Again, they're not coming at you, they're just standing there. Boom. So the person standing, they'll just stand there, and you can change your angle to them. Boom. And again, the speed is the most important part. And once you have the speed, so you can get your foot on the target on time, the next thing is having your structure lined up so that your body weight transfers. If you're leaning back too much and you're knocking yourself back, that's not great because you'll tend to fall down. So you want to have that little bit of a push. So generally with kicking, you're leaning back away from it a little bit to counterweight your leg, but then your hips move forward. So upper body leans back, but your weight hops forward slightly or to the side. You can even do it behind a little bit, just a little pushing motion. They're coming at you from behind, just creating a little bit of space. And again, this isn't meant to do damage. This is just meant to buy you a second. They're coming at you, boom. And right now we're going, again, somewhere around the hips. We'll do some other ones later. And after you do about 10 per leg, then you can switch and the other person goes. And then each time reset to just standing there. Right now we're dealing with the initial someone coming at you, not the in-fight situation. The in-fight situation is easier, so we're gonna do the harder one. This is more Krav Maga style, where most of the time we'd have our arms down, working on that initial instinct. And then after you do the cut kick, you might drop to a fighting stance and have your hands up, either really high in they're really attacking that didn't work, or fairly high and more balanced. So this is defense, this is more balanced. And after you've done about 20 each, then what we're going to do is the person with the target, the shield, the pillow, whatever it is, you're going to hold it off to the side, and then you're just going to move towards them some way. You can just walk towards them slowly or quickly, or suddenly turn and lunge. And then your job as the defender is just get your foot on and try and create a little bit of space. This doesn't need to be huge, but buying yourself a second, buying yourself a couple feet of space. And you want to vary the timing. Don't make it predictable. Just kind of stand there, and the person defending, you can just kind of turn about in place, and at some point they'll come at you, boom, and you're going to do that quick motion. Maybe they're beside you, wherever they are, boom. Just do that quick motion. Maybe it's in an angle. Get a little bit of space, get your hands up, and then relax again. And again, do that about 20 times per person, roughly 10 times per leg. You just want to use the closest leg, and if they're equidistant, do whichever one's faster. And again, vary, don't go them consistently, give them an unpredictable pattern. Sometimes you'll come 2 or 3 times in a row, sometimes you'll wait 2 or 3 seconds. Shoulders are relaxed, especially while you're doing the kick. If you have tension in your upper body when you're kicking, oftentimes that'll throw you off balance and or slow down the kick. So try and have your shoulders relaxed. Okay. Okay, so it looks like both people have gone. If not, I'll give you the next drill and then you guys can keep on going. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna drop the shield, whatever it is, down to protect your leg. You still wanna be really careful when you do this so you don't hyperextend their knee, but you're gonna do the same thing, but now your stop kick is going to the leg. A note, front kicks are a little bit harder to do to the leg because they're width. So I generally prefer more front kick motion to the body and more side kick motion to the leg. So when they come at you, you're gonna do, even if they're to the front, you're gonna turn and do a little side kick pop. And again, you're gonna have the padding there, but if you kick really hard and hyperextend their knee, the padding won't help. And again, we'll just stand there and they'll just hold it. And then you'll just boom, boom. And then after you've done about 10 times per leg, then you'll have the same thing where they'll step towards you. And again, it's about the timing. You want to hit right about the time their foot is coming down. And again, be super careful when you do this, because if you get it just right as their foot is coming down, you manage to pop their knee and hyperextend it or lock out their knee, then their weight goes onto that leg when it's off balance. So go ahead. So again, just standing, one leg or the other in front, and person who's kicking just kind of turn in place and then eventually just randomly throw that kick. And the accuracy and the relaxation and the speed are important. You don't want power right now. Okay, looks good. And again, try and relax after each one. You're gonna tuck your leg a little bit so your motion is going forward. If the kick is going up, it won't do much. But as long as you've got this good structure at the moment of impact, then you're good. And be especially careful when they're coming at you. And again, the person stepping forward, you want to vary your timing. You might step and then step again and then wait a little bit and then step with the other one, then walk to the side a little bit and step forward. And for these intercepting kicks, timing is the most important part. If your timing is wrong, they are pretty much ineffective. You might as well do something else. But if you do have the timing, you can stop an attack completely if you get it just right, or more likely, at least buy yourself a couple seconds to do something else, or a little bit of distance to do something else. Again, it's about 10 per leg of each one. So 10 per legs of them just standing there, and then about 10 where they actually come forward. Give you that slightly moving target. And of course, just switch after one person is done, just switch over to the other one. Generally, the person who's holding counts. The person kicking has a lot more stuff to do. And if you're still finishing up, keep on going, and I'll just talk while you're finishing up. Next thing we're gonna do is a punch or a flick. It doesn't really matter. Your goal is just to get something in the way between you and them. It can be a quick jab, it can be a flick, it can be just a bop to the face, kind of a soft palm heel. But your goal is just to get something up as soon as you see them coming at you. So this is, someone comes towards you, and then you pop at the face, and then stop. So again, you'll just stand there and you're gonna see how quickly, again, you can be pretty much any direction, boom, throw the attack, go back to fighting stance and relax. Then you see it coming, flick, maybe it's a palm heel, but whatever it is, go from relaxed to fighting mode as quickly as you can. Relax. This one will go probably a little bit faster because hand techniques are a little bit faster than kicks. Quite a bit faster than kicks, I should say. So again, about 10-ish per side, or about 20 total per person. Again, your main weapons are a flick, back of the hand to the bridge of the nose, a palm heel kind of the same way, bopping them on the nose, or a punch, vertical fist, aiming about the neck. So if you miss, you're gonna clip them in the chin. If you go low, it's gonna hit them in the sternum. Either way, your goal is just to create some space. And again, go from relax. Start with your hands down, throw the attack, and then relax again. Arms down, throw the attack, go to fighting stance, relax. Remember going your turtle stance. So after you do the attack, your hands come up, your chin drops a little bit, shoulders come up a little bit. Kicking at long range, taller is better, but very quickly after that, as soon as they get in range to punch, you want to switch. And then again, after you've just held it and done about 20, then the person's gonna be standing with the target off to the side, and you can just kind of move around a little bit. Then you're gonna flash the target, and you wanna hit it, boom, as fast as you can. Ideally, before it even stops moving, you wanna hit it, go back to fighting stance, and then drop it. And it'll just appear, hit it, back to fighting stance, drop. And again, holders, you wanna make it unpredictable. You might do 2 or 3 in a row. You might wait 3 seconds. And the attacker, person who's throwing the strikes, relax in between. So just let your arms hang limp. You're just standing there, and then they come at you, boom, throw the attack, relax. The attack again, relax. Flick, relax, flick, relax, pop. And Dylan, more relaxed when you're standing there, nice and relaxed. Then it appears, yeah, you're much faster when you're relaxed. Start your attack when you see the target moving towards you. Don't wait till it stops, because again, it's intercepting. You want to hit it as it's on its way up. Before it even stops moving, you want to pop it. Okay, and if you're still finishing up, that's okay, keep going. I'm just gonna talk about the next one. The next one is they come up behind you and they're coming at your head. If they're just coming at you and you have a little bit of room, but not enough time to turn, you can do the defensive back kick. And again, this is just a pop. If you hit them in the thigh or the gut or the groin or hips or whatever, that's good. But my main goal is just to hit, to buy a little bit of space and time. The other option is the rising hammer. Duck and just throw this arm straight up. You're trying to hit under the chin. So if you're holding the back kick, then just present a target down in your hips. If you want to do the other one, hold it down flat. So whatever your pillow is or whatever, you want it flat this way. So the target comes up to it. And you'll just hold it up head height. So you can hold just a few down low and get a practice for it. Boom, throw that kick, go to fighting stance, and then hold some down low. Boom, hammers up on this side, hammers up. Other one comes up, protects your head. Boom. Both of these are bad because they're behind you, but they're good because they're unexpected. Most people don't attack backwards. So again, about 5 per leg on this one with the leg, with a back kick, or just about 10 if you just have a favored leg. But you might be walking and then you just want to generally use the closer leg. And then about 10 per arm of the rising hammer. Come up behind, hold it high, boom. Thumb points down on the hammer, ducking away. Back kick, make sure you cover the back of your head, the occiput, right where the neck turns to skull. You want to have your hands overlap there. Pretty much just about the most dangerous place to get hit. Boom, land in fighting stance. And when you're doing the hammer, this is someone's coming up and punching you in the head out of the blue, or you just see movement, you don't know what it is. So you're leaning away, and that'll actually help with the hammer. If you're just turning, it's hard to get your arm up. But if you bow slightly, like rear rising elbow strike, it's gonna swing much higher, much stronger. So part of that comes from your hips. So they're coming at your head. On this one, they're coming at your head and you're kicking low. The other one, they're coming at your head and you're going up. Which one's better? Well, whatever one's more natural for you. Knowing both is good in case you might discover a circumstance where one is better than the other. And again, make sure you duck away on the hammer or lean away on the back kick. Partially to get the height and partially to pull your head away. And on the hammer, again, you want to hold it flat, horizontal to the ground. But it doesn't really matter if this has a ton of power. Again, we're just trying to buy a second, stall them for a second, surprise them that you're already fighting back when they just came at you. Because remember, generally when you are attacked, the odds of you ending the fight by injuring them out are generally pretty low, partially because you don't want to stick around that long. Generally what you're doing is you're just trying to overwhelm their desire to continue the fight, which has been true of militaries throughout history. Generally your goal isn't to destroy the other army, because that's almost never a possibility. Generally your goal is to put them in a position where enough of them decide that they aren't going to win this, or it's not worth doing, that they retreat. So you're doing the same thing, just one-on-one instead of an army. You're convincing this person that's attacking you that this isn't worth it, so they're going to stop attacking. And if you happen to do enough damage that they can't continue the fight, depending on the situation, that's, say it's criminal violence, someone mugging you or jumping you and beating you up, assault, that sort of situation. If you can stop them and actually injure them, that's a bonus. Your goal is just pretty much to overwhelm their desire to fight, not their capability of fighting, because that's just too challenging. If that was easy, then MMA fights and boxing matches would be much shorter. And they can be, but not often. Okay, so let's finish that up. I want to do a little bit of arm bars. I don't have a partner here today, but I wanted to do some of the basic arm bars. And arm bars are ways of basically wrapping up their arm to temporarily immobilize it, or more commonly to manipulate their elbow or shoulder, either to do damage or more commonly to manipulate them by driving them down into a wall, onto the ground, whatever. So we're going to start off, one person's going to come up, you're just going to grab on your partner's shoulder, and we're going to do key lock. So have person who's defending, they're going to grab onto your left shoulder. So a person who's grabbing, grab with your right hand onto that shoulder. Now, person who's being grabbed, you're going to chop your arm to the bend of their elbow. So your arm goes across, hit the bend of their elbow. Then you're just going to lift their wrist up. So the person grabbing, they bend your elbow and then they pluck the wrist off. So your arm's going to be up like this. So chop, lift. The arm that chopped, you want to go around their arm, up, around, and grab your own hand. So again, I did chop, lift, and the one that did the chop rubs through the bend of their arm, goes around their arm, back around, grabs onto my wrist. And you might need to adjust your grip, turn it from here to thumb down. And then the attacker's arm should be something like this, and you're holding onto their wrist, and your other one's grabbing onto your arm. There's two ways you can do this. There's the nice way, the Aikido style, where you move their wrist to the back of their head or behind their shoulder, and then you just sink weight to pull their hand down their spine. And that's designed to hopefully not hurt them, just put them on the ground. The Aikido Jiu-Jitsu version is the opposite. Put their elbow on your chest and then bend the arm the way it doesn't go. So I've got this lock. The nice version, I move it behind their head and sink down. The not nice version is I put the elbow on my chest and then I wrench it the way it doesn't go, and do that slowly. So again, I'll walk through it again. Attacker, right hand grabs onto their shoulder on that side. Defender, right hand comes across, hit the bend of their elbow. And you probably want to do this while I'm talking. Left hand, so right hand goes across, hit their elbow. Left hand, push their wrist up off of your shoulder. Your right hand at the bend of their elbow, go around, over the top of their arm, around, behind, and grab onto your own wrist. Once you've got that, you want to move it over their shoulder and then put weight on it. So you just go in like you're leaning on them, like you're using their arm to hold you up, or you're pulling, you're trying to ring the bell, you're pulling on a giant heavy rope. Or the not nice version, plant their elbow on your chest and then just turn their arm out 90 degrees. Okay, so if you have already switch other person, so chop them in the elbow, go ahead, grab onto their shoulder facing them. This won't work if they're facing away, so you're gonna be facing each other. Now your arm chops across, hit them in the elbow to make it bend. Your other hand comes up, lifts their wrist up. Then once it's off your shoulder, the one at the bend of their elbow, go over their arm and then around back so you can grab onto your own wrist. The one you chopped up with, grab onto the wrist with that one. Now move their hand back behind their body and then sink weight down to bend their spine backwards and take them down. That's the nice version. Good. The not nice version, put the point of their elbow on your chest and then just bend their arm slowly at this right angle, the way it doesn't want to go. And you might need to turn a little bit in order to make that happen. Just experiment. Yep. Good. Okay. And if you have it, you can try the other arm. So everything's just going to reverse. Just make sure your arm goes across the body. Hit the bend of the elbow, pop it bent. Other one lifts their hand up. You can do it with your thumb. I prefer it to do with my knife hand, but if that's confusing, don't worry about it. You can do it, get it later. Pluck it up. And then the one that's at the bend of the elbow goes over the arm, around between your arm and theirs, and then grabs onto your own wrist. And from there, move it behind their body and put weight on it to drop them, or to break it, put their elbow on your chest and wrench it the wrong way. Depending on the height difference, these may or may not be workable. Some things, if they're really tall or really short, they don't quite work. But that's okay. We're gonna move on to the next one either way, just because I wanted to get at least another one in. The next one is called Krav Maga arm wrap. So they grab onto your shoulder, and the person who's being grabbed, you're gonna pray that they let go. Their arm is over here. Both your hands come up on their center line. Then if they're grabbing onto your left shoulder, your left arm is gonna go up, around, and wrap around their arm. So you're gonna trap their arm in your armpit. If you've done knife defense before, you know that's where you catch their fist. So you're gonna go up and you're gonna basically trap their arm. Once you've done that, there's several different options. So their arm is trapped. You can try and hyperextend their elbow. That requires some pretty precise positioning. We're not gonna worry about that right now. But what you can do is take your hand, your other hand. So I've got it headlocked with my left. My other hand goes up under their chin in a palm heel. Step under their arm with your right leg. So you're stepping past them, and then push their head up and turn. And so the person who's grabbing, they've headlocked your arm, they push the head up, and then step under your arm, and then push up and turn, and they can just take you down to the ground. Okay. So again, they grab onto the shoulder, and if you already have this, you can try the other shoulder. So grab onto the shoulder, pray, hands go straight up. Whichever side the arm is on, go up around with that arm so you can headlock it. Then get this nice and tight. It's not a permanent solution, but it'll hold it long enough. Your other hand comes up under their chin. You can also go under their nose if that's not working, or into their throat. And then your goal is to get their head to look up. If you can make them look up, you can make them go down. And then with that trapped arm, turn towards the arm you have trapped while you push their head up. And then if you go fast, hopefully you can take them down. But we're not doing that right now. If you can't get the chin, sometimes you can get the jaw. And as long as you get the jawline, if you can get their head to tilt, sometimes it's the ear. If you can get their head to bend, you can usually get their body to follow. Okay, do that one more time, then we're out of time. Grab onto the shoulder, pray. Whichever side it's on, that arm goes around and traps it under this wing or in a headlock position. The other one comes up to their face. And whichever arm you have trapped, you want to step across under it. So if they're grabbing on to your left shoulder, you want to take your right foot across under that arm as your right hand tilts their head up, and then turn towards the wing. Okay, but we're out of time. We'll continue this in the next class for a little bit. So if you're heading out, I will see you next time. If not, I'll see you we'll come back in about a minute. So, and see you next time, or see you in 1 minute.